Hello, Room 16. It's Mr. Bon. It's good to hear from all of you this last weekend. I got so many assignments turned in. It's crazy. So, you may have read in the assignment for today that personal narrative is kind of just going to get sunk. I was planning on having us do a peer edit, but without having people meet up in person, it's just not going to fly the way that I was hoping it would. So, we're going to be taking what you guys have done, and I'll be marking those, and that'll be your personal narrative unit mark. We are moving on, though, to do our short story unit now, which is going to be pretty great if you ask me. I love short stories. So, people always ask me, like, Mr. Bon, why short stories over, like, a novel? Well, because novels are like hundreds of pages long, and a short story is, this one's not counting the first page, 7. And it gets a lot of stuff done in that time. You learn a lot. And it tells you just so much about the psyche and the psychology of a person and what's going through their mind, and it's pretty exciting too. So this right here is called Tiger's Heart by Jim Kjelgaard. This is one of my favorite short stories to teach, and I'll be doing the first page of reading with you guys because I'm sure that you miss me reading out loud to you. So we're going to do that together, and then you guys will be reading the rest of it on your own and answering the questions and filling in the vocab attached to the classroom assignment. If you're ready, and so am I, let's go on down. The Tiger's Heart by Jim Kjelgaard. The approaching jungle night was, in itself, a threat. As it deepened, an eerie silence enveloped the thatched village. People were silent. Tethered cattle stood quietly. Roosting chickens did not stir, and wise goats made no noise. Thus it had been for countless centuries, and thus it would continue to be. The inhabitants of the village knew the jungle. They had trodden its dim paths, forded its sulky rivers, borne its steaming heat, and were intimately acquainted with its deer, tapir, crocodiles, screaming green parrots, and countless other creatures. But that was the daytime jungle they could see, feel, and hear. But at night, everything became different. When darkness came, the jungle was alive with strange and horrible things which no man had ever seen and no man could describe. They were shadows that had no substance, and one was unaware of them until they struck and killed. Then, with morning, they changed themselves back into the shape of familiar things. Because it was a time of the unknown, night had to be a time of fear. Except, Pepe Garcia reflected, to the man who owned a rifle. As the night closed in, Pepe reached out to fondle his rifle and make sure that it was close beside him. As long as it was close beside him, he was king. And that was only just, for the rifle had cost him dearly. With 11 others from his village, Pepe had gone to help chop a right-of-way for the new road. They used machetes, the indispensable long knife of all jungle dwellers, and they had worked hard. Unlike the rest, though, Pepe had saved every peso he didn't have to spend for immediate living expenses. With his savings, and after some haggling, he had bought his muzzle-loading rifle, a supply of powder, lead, and a mold in which he could fashion bullets for his rifle. 80 pesos the rifle had cost him, but it was worth the price. Though the jungle at night was fear itself, no man with a rifle had to fear. The others, who had only machetes with which to guard themselves from the terrors that came in the darkness, they were willing to pay well for protection. He did not know what awakened him, only that something was about. He listened intently, but there was no change in the jungle's monotonous night sounds. Still, something was not as it should be. Then he heard it. At the far end of the village, near Juan Arias' hut, a goat bleated uneasily. Silence followed. The goat bleated again, louder and more fearful, and there was a pattering rush of small hoofs, a frightened bleat cut short, and then, again, silence. Alright, guys, that's what I'm going to read for you. You'll notice that there are more paragraphs. I have, again, put in all the line numbers for your reference. That matters for one of the questions when I ask you to come look at this page, 41 and 46. And if you want to refer to line numbers when we are talking about your answers, that would also be lovely for helping me mark you quickly. So if you want to, you can. You're not required to, but it helps. If you have any questions, please make sure to ask me, or Ms. G, of course. We are always available. That said, if you submit 10,000 assignments over the weekend, I will not mark them during the weekend because I don't know, it's the weekend. You gotta have some time off work now and again, you know? So, pitter patter, let's get at her. And I hope you all enjoy this first short story of our short story unit. I will give you more details next week on what we're doing. And again, short story unit should take 3, potentially 4 at most weeks. And then I'm considering for our next unit to make it be about mythology. And if not mythology, then poetry. Maybe both. We have time. We've got 2 months. So, enjoy. I love this story. Tell me what you think about it. Hit that like and subscribe button, and have a lovely week. Bye.